Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the Mighty Jingles. We have a Tier 10 standard battle for you today here on the Fisherman's Bay map. And we also have a tank that I really don't seem to feature very much. This, in the Polish Tier 10 heavy tank, the 60TP, is AlexanderGamingFox. The 60TP, of course, never existed. I mean, there were some pictures of it, but it definitely never went into production, and it certainly never even saw the prototype stage. I mean, it was designed in 1956 by a Polish army officer, but by 1956 there was no way Poland was ever going to be designing and building its own tanks. They were so firmly on the wrong side of the Iron Curtain, they were only ever going to be fielding Soviet designs. Actually, here's a fun game for all the family. Have a look at the team lists on both sides of the screen here, and let me know in the comments, out of the 30 tanks present in this battle, which ones actually existed. See if you can come up with a number, and then have fun defending that number against everybody else in the comments, as you all have an argument about what actually existed means within the scope of World of Tanks. Have fun! Anyway, yeah, the 60TP, it's one big old tough unit of a tank. And I know I said this about the Tiger Mouse in, I think, last week's video. And the Tiger Mouse is a tough tank. I stand by everything that I said in that video, but it's tier 9 tough. The 60TP is tier 10 tough in a world of gold ammo. It's basically 200mm of angled and sloped armour almost everywhere at the front, with the exception of the lower glacis. But when you're side scraping around a corner like this, you're not showing your lower glacis to anybody, so you are functionally immune to even the most expensive of gold ammunition. Functionally immune to incoming fire, regardless of how deep into their pockets the people shooting at you are thrusting their grubby little fingers. This tank can take a hit. And it can dish it out as well, because the gun does 750 average damage. Now, the thing is, despite the terrible aiming time and the horribly slow reload, the damage per minute on the tank is not actually that bad because it does so much alpha damage. It's also got reasonable mobility. I mean, it's by no means fast, but it's not a slow heavy either. Hello, remember me? Look at this aiming time. Just... yeah, I'm still here. Gave him all the time in the world to shoot back, but nope. And it's nice to see that when you're in something as big and chunky as the 60TP, and you do actually take the lead in the way that big chunky heavies like this are supposed to, that Alexander's team don't just leave him hanging. Because what usually happens in circumstances like this... oh look, a Tiger Mouse. Oh look, a Tiger Mouse lower glacis at point blank range. Yeah, that hurt. But yeah, what usually happens in circumstances like this is you go ahead, you take the lead, you distract all of the enemies, and then the rest of your team just sit there watching you get beaten to death, and then turn around and look at each other and say, well, who's next? That isn't happening today. Oh, and your eyes are not deceiving you. He did just bounce 155mm gold from the Doom Turtle. 320mm of penetration. Ding! Oh, and it was nice of the Tiger Mouse to straighten out its lower glacis there just as he came around the corner, ensuring that kill. But here come the rest of the team. I mean, they're not leaving him hanging. Another thing that I do love about this battle in particular, and it's not so much to do with the 60TP that Alexander's driving, here come the rest of his team, it's to do with the commander that he has. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but it sounds like one of the characters from Call of Duty. I don't know if it's Soap or Captain Price. I mean, I might be completely wrong and it's neither of them, but it does sound like them. And he's got some great lines. My particular favourite is, go on, hit him like he owes you money. Completely bypassing the Doom Turtle here. And you might be thinking, quite rightly, oh, hang on a minute, you don't want to expose your ass to a T95, but I mean, he's got the health to take a hit. And there's no way the T95 is surviving getting mobbed like that. Look at that. He took the lead and the team backed him up. Teamwork. It's still a free consumable. Wargaming have not yet figured out a way of selling it, but give them time. Another thing that this battle I think demonstrates quite nicely is the... Do you remember a couple of years back, Wargaming were quoted very famously as saying that only 5% of all the ammunition fired in World of Tanks is gold. And I'm not saying that they're lying, but it's all a question of how you frame the statistic. It's all a question of perspective. You see, from AlexanderGamingFox's perspective, 0% of the ammunition used is gold, because he ended the battle with 10 rounds of heat, and he's going to finish the battle with 10 rounds of heat, because he never needed to use any of it. From the perspective of the people shooting at him, however, 90% of the ammunition used in World of Tanks is gold. He takes 10 hits, and only one of them, from the STI at the beginning, was not gold ammo. Now, I'm not saying this is a good thing or a bad thing, it's just a thing. It's World of Tanks at tier 10. It's a gold extravaganza. However, where do they get that 5% figure from? Because it's clearly not tier 10 battles. Well, it's 5% of all of the ammunition expended in World of Tanks. That includes tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, you know, tiers where you have tanks with 20mm autocannons that fire 200 to 300 shots per battle if they don't get knocked out in the first 2 minutes. And almost none of that's gold. So your statistic is heavily skewed by the vast amounts of non-gold ammunition that get fired at lower tiers compared to the relatively low amounts of almost exclusively gold ammo that get fired up here at tier 10. That's where you get the 5% overall figure from. So nobody at Wargaming is lying when they say it's only 5%, but they're not, strictly speaking, telling the whole truth either. That seemed like a bit of a suicide rush, though, across the middle of the field there, deliberately driving into a crossfire. And he was quite deliberately driving into a crossfire, because once again, he's taking the hits for the team, because he can. And also, when there's only one enemy tank left, and 12 of you, you can probably afford to take a few risks. And everybody was remarkably nice and friendly and polite to each other in chat as well. I don't know if you noticed that. Although it's easy to be nice when you're winning, the true test of character is how well you manage to conduct yourself in chat when you're getting ruffle stomped like the enemy team did in this battle. I'm going to go out on a limb here and suggest that if we'd been able to see the enemy team chat during the course of this battle, it probably wouldn't have been safe for YouTube. It would have probably come with a parental advisory warning. Anyway, that absolute ruffle stomp in this tank for AlexanderGamingFox was only good enough for a first-class mastery award. No ace tanker today. Yeah, you got to do better than 10,000 combined damage done and blocked in this thing in order to unlock the shiny gold mastery badge, although based on the way he's playing it, I suspect Alexander's probably already got it. I suspect, and Alexander, if you're watching this video, and I suspect you probably are, but please let me know that if this sort of high-risk but high-reward strategy that you seem to employ with a 60 TP is the standard way of playing, I'm going to guess that it doesn't work most of the time, but every now and then when you get a team like this that are capable of thinking and breathing at the same time, the rewards are good. Because that was 6,380 damage done, 4 kills, more than 1,000 base experience, and nearly 4,000 damage blocked. And also, let's not forget, the ultimate insult to all of the scouts on the team, more than 1,000 spotting damage. Mostly because you were basically scouting with your face. He didn't do the most spotting damage on the team, by the way. He actually came third on spotting damage. There were 2 others that did more spotting damage than him, although not that much more. One of them was the medium, the CX-63, which is to be expected because there weren't actually any light tanks on the team. But the other one was a tank destroyer. The S-Tank. Did around about 1,700 spotting damage, but coming third in a 60 TP for spotting damage, as well as the monster amount of damage done and blocked, frankly, at this point, Alexander, I think you're just showing off. That's not a criticism, by the way. You had plenty to show off about. By all means, please do keep that up. And I hope it brings you continued success into the future, because it's nice to see somebody playing a big, chunky boy heavy the way they're meant to. It's also nice seeing the team backing you up and allowing you to succeed while doing it. And I hope you all enjoyed watching it, because that is it for today. Don't forget, I'm looking forward to a heated discussion about which of the tanks of this battle were actually real and which ones weren't in the comments. And if you've got anything else to say about this battle, well, that's what the comments section are for. Looking forward to seeing what you have to say. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.